feather elephant. Has anybody heard of it? The Phajaan? Yeah, most of you. So just briefly for those of you and to cover back over the basis, an elephant is taken from the wild when they're about 2 to 4 years of age, especially for Pailin's kind of age group. Now they will also be born in captivity. And she would have been taken from the wild, from the freedom where it's peaceful and calm, and should have been taken into a city surrounded by people and noise and pollution. In order to get her into those kind of areas, it usually takes around 18 to 20 people with ropes around all of their legs to pull them into like a little box. That's just seeing their freedom being cut off in front of them. So they get locked in these tiny little areas, and then they are started to be deprived of both food and water. Now, elephants can actually smell and sense food and water between 5 and 12 miles away. So you can imagine if it's just in that line of vision, then it's such a strong sense in their minds, it's really playing mental games with them. Now, sometimes their trunks will be allowed to just be loose and free, so they can try and reach out for the food. Every time they do, the trainers will punish them, beat them back down, and they won't be allowed to get it. Or sometimes their trunks will also be chained down, so they can't even try and get that food. But they start to learn that they're not allowed it, whilst their bodies are becoming weaker and weaker, so they're not really able to fight back to the trainers. After their bodies have reached a really, really low point, the elephants will actually be beaten into submission. So this process can take around 3 to 4 weeks, up until 3 to 4 months. So it's basically a military interrogation where they use torture as the method. It's the same kind of thing to break down that spirit of the elephant until there's nothing to live for. So they will use the bull hooks, they will use the knives, machetes around the ankles, the sensitive parts of the body. Underside of the trunk, you'll notice, actually Pailin is missing the finger on her trunk, and this is what usually an Asian elephant would have to allow them to pick things up. Hers is missing either from electrocution or from a knife cutting off, so she doesn't have that anymore. You'll see again with the ears, a lot of the scarring all over her body, until she'll basically either break down, so the elephant will make out a certain scream, which is when the trainer knows that that elephant is never going to be the same wild elephant, and it's only at that point that then they can be used around people, or until the elephant actually dies. So over half of the elephants that are put through that training process will not make it through the other end because of how much of a brutal process it is. So it's really, really sad and so unknown. So many people think, oh, you can ride on a horse, you must be able to ride on an elephant, they're big and strong. And it's not until you actually think about the difference between the wild and the domesticated animals that it becomes apparent that actually they would have to go through something like this. So every single elephant used to be working around people, whether that's doing the performances, doing the riding, even in zoos where you'll see a direct contact between people. They'll have to have gone through some kind of form of this training, otherwise they're too dangerous. If there's a wall or a bar between them, that's okay because it's not direct contact, because they've got like a protected barrier, but otherwise they have to go through something like this. And the same with all wild animals that you'll see. There's no way to train a wild animal to do something that's unnatural. So tigers jumping through rings of fire, again, all things like that. It's not natural. So there has to be some kind of element of starvation, torture, or both in order to make the animals do this. Very itchy. You're going to flip that over.
Are they still not, will they at some point attack their keepers, or?
Yeah,
probably.
It's likely to happen. Yeah, there is so many elephant deaths, deaths caused by elephants that won't have been fully recorded. But normally in Thailand, there's quite a few deaths from the keepers, always, even the ones who have been put through that training. So then a zoo, you wouldn't normally see like a direct contact.
No.
If it's a tiny baby, then they're not so strong, so they're not going to be as dangerous. But as soon as they start to get bigger and bigger, then yeah, that's more difficult. We had one male elephant. He's about he was about 3 or 4 years of age when he was here. He'd already been put through the Phajaan, and he already tried to kill one of our keepers here. He's now 10 years old, and we have to have a huge hands-off policy, like 2 meters away from him at all times, because he's so dangerous. Also, we have a young baby elephant who's 2 years old right now. She's never been through the training, and our keepers still can work with her quite closely because she's still very young and she's playful. But when she gets bigger, we'll also have to have a hands-off policy.